along. Anybody have any requests before we get started? I know. Maybe my YouTube star will rise. Wow, everybody's really on the 8 o'clock joining time. All right, hi everyone. And what do we got? What do you guys want to do today? Do you have any requests? Chat, unmute, and let me know if you do. I'll give it a 30 seconds or so. I have an idea, if nobody else does. I'm gonna pin myself. I always forget to do that. Okay, so let's start. Any grounded, comfortable position is fine. If you want to kneel, kneel. If you want to sit cross-legged, sit cross-legged. If you want to sit with your legs out, that is also fine. Just come to a comfortable seat and we'll go from there. Notice, based on whatever shape you decided to make, what is your foundation? Foundation is whatever's touching the ground. So you want to try to bring some intentional downward pressure into whatever is your foundation, and also some lift up out of your foundation as you're setting up for your shapes. And then get in touch with your breath. And that's one of the ways that you can sense how your energy is moving through your body. Give it a couple extra breaths now that you've landed in the shape to notice how your breath is moving, and then we'll go from there. Okay, hopefully you have some props, maybe some other furniture laying around that you can pull in as needed. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab a block or two to start off with. All right, and up to you if you use one or both. I'm gonna stay kneeling on the one leg and bring my weight forward and pivot. Let's go with the left leg out to the side, and then I'm gonna step my right foot forward and wide, okay? And I'm gonna use my blocks on my hands so that I can be a little bit more lifted. And from here, I'm gonna start to sink my hips down into a deeper squat on my squatting leg, and then I'm gonna come back out of it. And then I'm gonna repeat that. So it is up to you how far down and back you go, because there is a down and there is a back component. You can stay sort of up and just make it lateral, or you can go deep and also sit into more hip flexion with it. That's up to you for now for this part. And in fact, that can almost be sort of a half circle that you're making with your hips in and out. What you're working here is sort of up to you, right? It can be more inner thigh that you're feeling. It can be more hip flexors on the right side, or it can be more hamstrings as you're closing the back of the leg down on the right side. So we will give it 2 or 3 more repetitions. And then let's go ahead, and I want you to sit into the squat to wherever you're comfortable. If that means you need to support yourself with a block underneath your right hip, you can go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and do that just to make it nicer for myself today. And I'm gonna lean as much of this right side, my rib cage, and even upward of my shoulder into my right side inner thigh. And then this left hand can stay on the thigh of the left leg, and you can lean in, or you can kind of twist open into it. You're putting pressure here and engaging those two pieces of your body together, and then you're sort of exploring maybe a little head and neck, maybe more so in the torso. Breathe into the activation on your right side as you're making any micro movements with your torso. And then we're going to switch. So you might want your hand to the floor, or you might want your hand on a block. Again, that's sort of up to you. Left hand is going to get grounded. It's going to become part of your foundation. And then you'll take your right hand to your right knee. You're going to start to lean away. So as you see, I started here, but I can put this left hand anywhere because now you're leaning your body away from your right leg, but you want to stay somewhat grounded through the foot, and you're opening now through that groin and activating through the inner thigh on the opposite side. Maybe it becomes a little bit of a side stretch. Maybe it's a neck stretch. Not really anything right or wrong here. All right, come back up, put a little pressure down through the right foot, move the block out of the way, crawl yourself out of that shape, and switch sides. Okay, so come on to an appropriate level to begin with, and then sink into the squat, up and around and back, or just stay lateral, wide, and more up. It is easier to explore some depth with the support of your hands and only working on the one side at a time. But because you're getting to explore some depth, hopefully as well, you can notice how the one side relates to the other side through different activations as you're moving through different range of motion here. That's very important for safe stretching. I keep looking up at the computer, but I need to look down. 2 or 3 more repetitions, and then you're going to post up left side to left leg. Sit into it. Lean your ribs and your shoulder. If you're setting the block under the hip, catch your hip with the block, and then lean into it. You can twist and lean. You can be down and lean. You're just creating that activation here. And that activation, once you release it, actually helps in the iliacus and the psoas and the adductors, all those muscles in the inner corner of your hip that get tight. That compressive activation will help to release it in a second. All right, we're going to switch to the other side, down through the right hand, and then lean away. I'm using my left hand even to open up some more. All right, come on out by sitting down to your butt. Set yourself up I've got my legs in kind of tight here. Reminder that you can have your feet further away, and that can help if your legs don't necessarily want to go. And you don't even have to have crossed legs. You can do what's called this is a goblet squat when you are standing up, and it's also called a goblet squat when you are sitting down. So you can have your feet sort of wide with your knees falling open. And if you are one of those people that has tight hips, this is a perfectly acceptable seated position that helps with that external rotation and opening up the hips. In fact, again, if you don't do this pose, let's just go there. Everybody's go here to start with, and then you can choose to stay or not. This is a good one. It is lesser explored because it's less difficult, and if it's not difficult, it's not sexy, and people don't do it as much. Unless you're pregnant, in which case then you do this all the time in prenatal yoga. So a block out in front, 2 blocks out in front, a block and fists out in front, however many blocks you need or don't need to start to hinge from your hip. And I'll turn from the side so that you can see that it's a combination of hinging from your hip and then deciding whether or not you have additional space in your spine to also round, or if you need to just stay hinging. Okay, so if you're staying hinging, you probably need to catch yourself up higher and provide a little support up at the chest with a diagonal block situation so that you can lean into it and sort of just keep yourself forward and then go forward as you can until you can catch your head with a straight spine, or you're going down rounded, hinged, and rounded. And this is good, and I like this one because it kind of gets your IT band, the quads and the IT band a little bit. It allows people to touch their own feet and explore, up in there. You can self-massage out in the foot while you're here. Breathe into your low back as much as possible. Breathe into your entire spine as much as possible. We'll be here for about 8 more breaths. The changes happen mainly on your exhales. Your inhales, you might make active changes. Your exhales are where things sort of, if you'll notice, there's a lot of surface area of your body that's being acted on by gravity right now. And your exhales are where gravity is going to eventually overcome the habitual tension that you carry. And your body will say, yeah, down is actually easier than where I'm trying to maintain. Down is easier than up here if you just let your body go down. You might need to reach back, grab a butt cheek, and roll it out from underneath you. That's not uncommon. All right, come on up. And pull your feet in just a little bit, not a lot. Take your right hand to your left foot or ankle. If you need to move your left foot or ankle in just a little bit so that you can catch a hold of it, go for it. All right, so it's not exactly symmetrical. Hold the left ankle with your right hand, lift your spine up nice and tall, and then open your left arm behind you and look behind you. Take a big breath in. On your exhale, wrap around just ever so slightly. Tap your right knee, look back behind you into the right corner of your eye socket, and then inhale. Follow your hand up and around and back. Land on the exhale. Inhale up and around. When you get about halfway, start exhaling. Look back behind you with your eyeballs to the right corner of your eye sockets, then up and around. Follow your gaze, land on the exhale. Inhale up, exhale at the halfway point. Twist and look right. Inhale up, exhale, twist left. Inhale up, exhale, twist right. And inhale up with both arms. Switch out your legs. Catch a hold of your right ankle with your left hand. Then inhale up and back behind you. Stay for the exhale. Inhale up and around. Exhale, twist and look left. Inhale up and around. Twist and look right. Up and around center. Exhale to the left. Up and around center. Exhale to the right. Last time. Good. Up with both arms. Inhale. Feet comfortable. Exhale, cactus. Inhale up. Exhale, cartwheel over. You have your blocks. We're going to go up to the hands and knees, and then let's go ahead and step your left leg forward. Okay, so a lot of you are going to be at this 90-degree lunge because the back leg is tight. Okay, so that's fine, but I don't want you to just give up. This front leg needs to be active, similar to the very first shapes that we were making, where you were half squatting, half kneeling. Engage into that front leg, and then as much as possible, you're going to let your body come down over your front leg and stretch into your back, compress into that front leg, and keep challenging whether or not you can sit the hips a little forward. Now, if you're not stuck at 90-90, feel free to go ahead and sneak your knee back as much as is comfortable. With your hands on the block, you can even lift that back leg up if you want to be more active with it, but on both sides. I don't. I want to not be active. I want the back knee down. So you can stay more upright and incorporate your whole back into the stretch that's happening in the front of your right leg. Or you can drop your upper body down even if your back leg is back, and you'll increase the stretch in your psoas. Let's say you don't need the block for your hands. You can stack your blocks up and rest your head on your blocks. That doesn't diminish the stretch in the back leg. You have to let your belly expand on your inhales if you are accustomed to try to keeping your abs cinched in because society tells you your waist needs to look ripped at all times. Then you can just start to deprogram that. That's not true. When you're doing athletic endeavors, including yoga, you need to expand and create space from within using your expansive lungs on your inhale breath to do that. All right, come on out. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pivot away from you guys for a brief moment, and I want you to pivot too. After you see what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pivot so now the front leg goes long. So it's in that anywhere from just a very casual sort of triangle shape, right angle shape with my right leg. Or if you want more of an inner thigh challenge, then you can begin to scoot the right knee wider of the hip and as long through your left leg as you would like to be. And then you can choose whether you want to be forward or backward with it, up or down in the torso with it. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it back around now that I've showed you on that side what it looks like. You have your blocks. So wherever there's a gap, there can be blocks. So if you wanted to hang out all the way sort of in the medium, let's say medium, you could put your blocks in your chest, in your shoulders, to help keep some of your upper body weight so that you can be focused on what's happening in your legs. So that you don't have to hold your upper body as much and you can focus on releasing where you need to release and engaging where you need to engage. All right, come on up. And now we will do the other leg in front. So come on out however is most accessible for you. And this time your right leg is going to be in front for your lunge. And your left leg will be back behind you. Same thing as before. You have to figure out what you're going to do with this setup. If you're going to be 90-90, that is fine, but be 90-90 and engaged in that front leg so that you can challenge the back leg. You can be more upright with it, or you can be folded over your front leg. Both of them are going to increase the stretch. Rude, 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 rude. Both of them are going to increase the stretch in your back leg. One just challenges the whole back more, and one of them allows you to sort of get the psoas stretch without being in a back bend, which for some people is kind of a no-go. Okay, doing a quarter turn to the left, slide your right leg long, and you're either going to be in that 90, that right angle triangle, or you can start to slide longer. You can take that back foot and pivot it into the middle to get a little bit more space to sit back if you want to, or not. You can keep it in line with your knee. You can cat-cow, you can come down a level or multiple levels. There's so much you can do to change and challenge yourself in this shape. So please feel free to experiment and find what is going to work best for your body. Okay, bring your hands underneath you to hold the shape. And do you want to do hamstrings or do you want to do quads from here? Anybody?
Hamstrings, please.
Okay. So you might need to sit on a block depending on how tight your quads are. Let's go ahead and sit on a block to begin with and take the knee. Now look, if I was here super tight, this would be like a lot of demand on the quad, so you do not have to be like this in the leg we're not working. This leg is gonna sneak out to the side and it can be chill. Like I don't, you might not even need a block in some, compared to how you was, like a hurdler stretch. You do have to have a little bit of internal rotation going on here to be safe in this hip and this knee and this ankle. Ankle can be flexed depending on how far out the knee is. Just get this comfortable. And if that means sitting on a block, sit on a block. That's fine. Okay? But don't go too far back with that leg. Bend this leg up a little bit, support it a little bit. Roll up a towel, roll up a shirt, get a pillow. You don't need a whole block for this. Maybe you do, but probably you don't need a whole block for this. Because you don't have to go down super far. You're gonna take a prop or two props, and then you're gonna create a situation where you're supported and lean a little bit forward. Doesn't have to be a lot. It can be back here, and it can just be your head going down. That's actually it, like compared to where I first went, I like this better for me, even though I have like a full split. And the reason why I like it better is because this, compared to where I was, is not irritating the insertion of my hamstrings into my glutes, which tend to get irritated. So now I can start to edge toward where my sticking point is in my hamstrings for me, rather than getting into the shape and immediately being up against that edge. That's not a good way to do it. That ends up creating like stress. So you want to start to edge toward where your sticking points live slowly enough that your body can relax in anticipation of that approach, because you're showing it that you can do it in a kind and compassionate and not scary way. I know that that's like talking like your, hamstrings have a mind of their own, but your body keeps the score, So that's what we're up against here. They do have an emotional mind body of their own, as a part of your whole body. So we're not going to have time to be here for as long as you could be here. So let's just come on out and immediately go to the other side. But this is more just for like the benefit of, for those of you who are live, kind of getting the methodology. And those of you who are going to catch it on the back end or come back to it, now you know what to expect, and you can always pause or ignore when the video ends and just spend as much time as you need here. How much time is it safe to spend here? Really? No shit. You could be here for like 10 minutes or more per leg. If you have the sort of mind body praxis of how to then move out of deep somatic like work carefully on your own. Meaning, if you were to be here for a prolonged period of time, that's what that means is individual, 5, 10, 15 minutes, you know, stay here till you fall asleep. There will be a lot of release. There will be release not only of the muscles, there will be release of the fascia, and that can become an emotional release that can cause feelings of wanting to run away really quickly from said emotional releases. And you have to have the presence of mind to be able to go into those edges and go into those areas of historical tension and not just slingshot your way out once you've sat with it for a minute. It really requires activation on a physical level, appropriate amounts of activation on a physical level, shifts, changes, emotional maturity. There's a lot that goes into it. Your breath, you have to be able to access your breath to move out of the poses because things are going to be looser. Like if we're talking just very mechanical, things are going to be looser once your fascia releases. And if you go too fast, your body might not be prepared for just how loose you get if you stay for a prolonged period of time. So yeah, you can stay here. You are so supported. You could stay here for a very long time. That's how big changes do end up happening. But you have to go with some conservative mindset as well so that you are being safe. All right, come on up and then lay down on your back, and we'll end with a minute or so in Shavasana. If you haven't done the block as the traction pillow, go ahead and set yourself up for that now. If you'll notice, most yoga blocks have a beveled edge on them or a rounded edge on them. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the rounded edge, you're going to move your hair up and out of the way, you're going to trap the base of your skull with the rounded edge of the yoga block so that it's pulling the skin in the base of your skull up toward the crown of your head. Then you're going to hold it with your hands, lift up and shimmy your shoulders down toward your hips so that the weight of your shoulders is pulling your skin down. Your block is pulling your skin up. Your shoulders are relaxed so that your skin is being pulled down toward your hips, and you're getting a nice little bit of traction through the back of the neck as a result. You can just then take your arms out wide to a T, palms face up, and then don't move, just breathe. Relax your jaw. Let your eyes rest at third eye center, which is the most relaxed place for your eyes to rest. And continue to let the weight of your large bones be acted upon by gravity. If you'd like to stay, you're welcome to stay here. If you're ready to come up, you can come up. If you'd like to stay, just ignore for the next 30 seconds or so, and then it will go quiet. Everybody who's coming up, and you're just bringing your hands to heart center for a moment. Notice how you're feeling, and you keep what works and let everything else go. Exhale your old air out, breathe in deeply, hold it in at the top. Open up. Thank you, thank you. See you in the den.